In 1953, an educational writer by the name of William Van Til had this to say: education must inevitably be affected by the impact of events in the culture. It could not be otherwise. The history of education testifies that education is not independent of culture. Education and the culture shape and reshape each other." Close quote. There are many trends of modern society which affect our educational infrastructure. Some have an overt and direct effect, while others have an obscure and indirect effect. Ironically, the trends which pervade through all of society also tend to be the most obscure. These trends are so pervasive that we hardly take notice of them. Throughout history, it may be found that social revolutions tend to follow closely behind technological revolutions. Technology and culture have always been closely tied. In fact, technologies often become culturally iconic. A farmer's plow, a warrior's sword, a musician's instrument are all examples. Changes in these technologies also encourage social change. A particular example of social change resulting from the emergence of new technologies may be observed amidst the post-industrial age. In 1924, a journalist and publisher named Samuel Strauss commented on a philosophy and trend which he called consumptionism. Quote, "It is becoming a matter of general remark that the economic emphasis is changing. It is shifting from how to make things to how to dispose of things that are made so that the machine may be kept in constant operation. Formerly, the task was to supply the things men wanted. The new necessity is to make men want the things which machinery must turn out if the civilization is not to perish. The problem before us today is not how to produce the goods, but how to produce the customers. Consumptionism is the science of compelling men to use more and more things." This was a segment from his "Things Are in a Saddle" article in the Atlantic Monthly of November 1924. Among other things, consumptionism represents the social behavior caused by the economy of plenitude which evolved from an economy of scarcity. This reversal in social and economic practice was observed by Strauss as a product of the Industrial Revolution. While the development of consumptionism was inevitable, there was a particular malevolency Strauss was trying to highlight. In order to succeed in this environment, companies must be capable of stimulating consumer demand for both necessary and unnecessary products. It may seem that consumptionism is just another way of saying consumerism. Rather, there is a distinct difference. In both concepts, there is the intake of a good. However, consumptionism additionally implies the inevitable and foreseeable waste of goods. It is clear that making people want that which they do not need is ultimately a degenerative and antisocial activity, even if for a fleeting moment it profits a company. When people become conditioned to habits of consumption, industry further obliges this habit by becoming reliant and dependent on the customer's habitual consumption. The trend of consumptionism is self-perpetuating and its vices are elusive. Today, we find ourselves on the heels of a different technological revolution. This is the revolution of information and communication technologies. Where the Industrial Revolution was a matter of distributing tangible goods, the information revolution is a matter of distributing intangible goods. In both cases, a plenitude has been brought about by a technological revolution. The nature of the information plenitude which exists today has been explored exhaustively in recent journals and books. Just as we may draw economic parallels between the industrial age and information age, we may also draw social parallels. As the plenitude of products in the industrial age brought about a material consumptionism, the plenitude of information existing today has brought about a conceptual consumptionism. The evidence of this modern conceptual consumptionism may be found in all aspects of American life. It is particularly exemplified by the realm of modern entertainment. While unfortunate, the television has become the centerpiece of our culture, all 426 channels of it. The leisure time of our youth is spent increasingly less on matters of engaging and challenging the imagination, and increasingly more on the simple viewing of television programs. Entertainment is a form of concept consumption, and it represents an external supplement for the inventive and creative thoughts of the individual. When the discrete behavior becomes habitual, these habits of consumption are reflected in the mind. When this happens, the mind becomes reliant on external stimulation, the intake of external information. Consequently, the internal demand for creative and self-originating thought decreases. Furthermore, the occasional work of creating ideas within oneself becomes laborious and seemingly unnecessary in the light of potential further concept supplementation. The over-supplementation of mental stimulation and the subsequent dependence on these behaviors is conceptual consumptionism. Consumptionism supplements creation. There are many trends which have affected our educational environment, and whether we like it or not, conceptual consumptionism has affected it profoundly.